Hi ladies, I am back and this is video number 3, talking about frequently asked questions and concerns from client calls that I've got. I recently got a call and a client said to me, my last birth I had a C-section, this birth I'm gonna have twins, and so my provider has already scheduled me for a C-section, and I want to have a doula that's in support of me, because I've already been told that I need to have a C-section, I'm having twins, and the last doula that I had was, I could tell she was judging me. These were the words of this potential client when they called me. This is what they told me. So let's talk about that for a second. So you basically have a situation here where the client feels judged by her doula because perhaps her birth plan was to have a vaginal birth, to have a natural vaginal birth. And for whatever reason, this client was not able to get that vaginal birth. And that was her plan, that was her desire. This is very sensitive because what I've learned about birth is that it's not just a one-time event for a woman. It is a lifelong memory that lives with this woman throughout her life. I would say upwards of greater than 95% of the people that call me, they will say to me, I have what I feel like was a traumatic birth, and that is the reason that I'm hiring you. And sometimes I'll ask, how long ago was that? Well, it was 5 years ago. It was 10 years ago. It was 3 years ago. This memory does not go away. It sticks with women. And it's so important that a woman feels not judged and free to ask for what she needs and have those needs acknowledged. So when I heard this client say this, of course, I was not surprised because I've had many calls where potential clients will say, oh, I had a traumatic birth. And when I ask more questions, it's usually something that they felt happened that they didn't have control over, or that they didn't feel that they were able to give full consent. And so the client asked me, the next question was, well, how do you feel about me having a C-section? And this was very interesting because I paused for a second and I thought to myself, what does she mean? How do I feel? And the reason that question was kind of a little bit baffling to me is because I don't have any feelings around you having a C-section. Now, granted, I want my clients to have the birth they want. So if you tell me I want a vaginal birth, I want to do it unmedicated, I want this, and you go down a list. I want to help you achieve that as much as I possibly can as your doula. But I don't attach so much emotion to that I get lost in it and that I take it on as mine. It is not my birth. This is your birth. This is your body. So I think it's important for me as a doula to remain compassionate enough that I feel enough of what my clients want, that it gives me the energy and the audacity to drive towards that goal. I'm very goal oriented in general. I'm just naturally that way. So it doesn't occur to me that anything else would happen except me driving towards my client's goal and doing whatever is necessary within the scope of my practice and within my moral and ethical and legal obligations to make that happen. So when she asked me that question, I was like, yeah, your birth is your birth. And so I paused and then I answered her and I said, It's really not about what I think about you having a C-section. It's about what you think about you having the C-section. And this is so true. And I want my clients to feel supported in every way possible, but you have to be okay with your birth because it's your birth. At the end of the day, my job is to try to help you reach your birthing goals, to support you, to make sure that you're comfortable and you're confident and that you have a great experience. My job is not to take on personal feelings about your birth. So there are times when women actually want C-sections, and I've had clients that wanted a C-section, okay? I know for women who a vaginal birth and the birth pool, and it's just like with anything else, everybody has their dream of what they want, and that should be respected. I told her, I said, this is not about what I want. This is about what you want, and this decision is between you and your provider. Because again, a C-section is medical. So I don't have any skin in that game. My job is to support you for whatever birth you want. So if you want a C-section birth, then that's what I support you. And I begin planning my support around whatever birth you're having. And the support that I give to a mother who's having a C-section versus the support that I give to a mother who is having a vaginal birth, it's just only slightly different. But I do have to change it a little bit because the mode of delivery is different. And sometimes those moms do need a few things that are different. But I don't have any skin in the game in the sense of feeling emotional to the point where I'm gonna judge my client because of the way that she's birthing her children. And in this case, it was twins. So yeah, that one kind of really made me think, it made me think, and I'm really sorry that mothers are having to go through that, because you don't deserve that. No mother deserves to be judged for how she delivered her baby. And I also want to say that mothers that have C-sections are also still giving birth, because I know a lot of people, and we live in the internet age, people are saying things across the internet, oh, you didn't really give birth, and that's not true. It's just not true. Some people might argue that a woman that has a C-section had even more, she's even more of a woman because she went through even more intensity of pain and of recovery, right? Because the C-section recoveries tend to be a little bit more involved. And so I just don't have those kind of thoughts though about and taking it personal, because even throughout a birth plan, a client may say, well, I want this, and that's what their birth plan. But then in the middle of the birth, they may change their mind. So I can't get attached so deeply to what my client's desires are that I lose focus of what my role is. My role is a support role. My role is not to make the decisions for my client. My role is not to look down upon my client for any decision that they make at any point in time. So I have a very neutral standpoint, and I'm focused more on how can I support my client right now based on what her goals are right now. If her goals change, how can I change my support so that it best supports her right now? And that's it. There can't be any emotional attachments to her decisions and what she chooses. This is not my birth. This birth, the autonomy of her birth, all of that belongs with her, and it stays with her. I do not, even as her doula, I do not have the opportunity or get to take that away from her. So I was very concerned and very saddened by hearing this woman talk about how she was judged by a doula, and that being her first and main concern, because truly she didn't really talk to me about much else. That was all she wanted to know, was I going to judge her for the type of birth she was going to have? And my answer was absolutely not, because that's not what I'm supposed to be doing, and it's not what I'm going to do. So you guys know that I worked as a nurse previously, and as a nurse, you serve everybody. You are a public servant. And I see myself as a doula, as a servant, and I love to serve. This is why I do this work. This is hard work. In order to do hard work, you have to be non-judgmental. Everybody has prejudices. Everyone has biases. Every human being does. You cannot allow that to spill over into your work. When you are doing hard work, especially when you're doing service work, when you are doing work as intimate as people's health, or working as a doula with births, or working in, let's just say, with terminally ill patients, or with hospice, or just any of these things that require you to have lots of empathy, you need to be neutral. And you have to allow that person to make the decisions that they think are best for them without attaching your own personal bias to it. And so again, I was saddened to hear that she had to go through that. And if there's any of you guys out there that have gone through that, my apologies to you for you having to endure that. You don't deserve that. No one should be taking your power or judging you or looking down upon you for you going through something as miraculous as birth, whether it be through C-section or vaginally. Nobody should be judging you for that. And a lot of times those things are out of the mom's control. It's not even something that she can control. Nobody really can control how birth happens, right? So it's unfortunate and it's sad. And it kind of gave me a ick. It gave me the willies a little bit to hear it, because it does not help moms to feel safe. You would think of all people that a doula would be your number one cheerleader and supporter. And to hear a mom say, well, I felt judged by my doula, that was hard to hear. It was hard to hear that. So there's that. C-sections, I don't have any opinion on them except the fact that it is between you and your provider. That decision is made between you and your provider, because as a doula, I am a non-medical professional, and a C-section is a medical procedure. So I don't have any thoughts about it. I don't attach any of my emotions to that, because that is not where I belong. My job is to support you mentally, emotionally, and physically in terms of around your birth. My job is not to make any sort of medical judgments, and a C-section is a medical procedure, okay? Even when I was a labor and delivery nurse, I circulated a C-section if my client had to have a C-section, and I had absolutely no emotional attachment to that. I did my job. And as a doula, it is exactly the same. Whatever the client decides in conjunction with her provider, I support it. I support the entire birth, and I do what she needs me to do. And all of these actions are non-medical and they're non-judgmental. And that is all. I will see you guys on the next video.